Squawker talking about Ivan Perisic. And one thing as well, which we didn't touch on about Ivan Perisic, was his defensive work yesterday, which was really strong. It said his stats against Wolves: most duels won, which was 7, most tackles 5, most chances created, and most 3, and most assists, obviously, with 1 assist. So assists in back-to-back games for the Croatian. And I have to say, he shackled Neto really well. I think of all the attackers for Wolves, Neto was the quietest, probably, wasn't he? So you got to give a lot of credit for Perisic for that. And a few times as well, especially in the second half, Wolves were on a breakaway, and he was able to get back in position and cover a few times.
Yeah.
And that was really
one
impressive.
really impressive challenge that he put in. I can't remember who. I think it might have been against Neto, actually.
Yeah.
I think it was in the second half when they were about to break away, and he just, with a lung-busting run, getting back there. So really impressive from Perisic.
Yeah, I agree. This one says the next Man City versus scraping through games. So that was Arsenal versus Bournemouth. They won 3-0, but they actually had a lower XG than us against Wolves, which is interesting enough.
Arsenal against Bournemouth yesterday?
Apparently.
That's mental.
They had a lower XG than we did against Wolves, which goes to show maybe we don't get enough credit for the chances we create, potentially. But then again, Harry Kane's XG for that goal must have been very, very high as well.
Yeah, and also that XG for the chance with the header, that would have been like 0.4 or something. Yeah, that was like 0.4, I remember at the time.
Yeah, I have to check that.
Because at half time our XG was 0.4, and that was literally our
That
only
was
chance.
0.04 though. That's
0.04.
Yeah, which is like 4%. Yeah, that wasn't it wasn't a quite. I thought you meant no in the second half. Hojbjerg dominating midfield, 85 touches, 68 passes, 95.6 passing accuracy yesterday. A dominant display, especially in the second half he was. And I thought, yeah, look, he always as well tops the metrics as well for like touches on the ball and passes. He from that point of view, like as I've said, he goes under the radar for how good he is on the ball, and I think he should it should be acknowledged more.
Why does Hojbjerg get such a bad rap from the fans?
It's just because occasionally, and unfortunately for him, it does happen once or twice a game. He will have an easy pass and he won't make it, and he'll put us in trouble.
Yeah, but still,
and he's got to sort
in
that
those
out.
specific games though, he always has like over a 90% passing completion rate.
And I think it's the ones that he doesn't make, they stand out. And I think that maybe it's because he makes so many passes, and then those few that he doesn't make, they really stand out, and it gives off this narrative that he's actually not a very good passer, when actually he is a pretty good passer. And I think as well, he plays more, like, for example, you don't see like Rodri or Fabinho maybe make the passing mistakes he does, which is fair. But I also think Hojbjerg is a bit more adventurous with his passing than they are. So maybe because of that, maybe it counts against him, because some of those passes don't come off, and that makes him look bad. But in general, if he wanted to play the passes that Rodri, and I mean, they obviously also play good passes, but a lot of the time they just play it very simple. Whereas I think Hojbjerg maybe plays it forward more than they do, which maybe counts against him in some cases.
Yeah, maybe you're right there.
That's why I think he tries to play a few line-breaking passes. Kane scored his 185th goal yesterday, which puts him in number fourth place in the Premier League all-time goal scoring list, one ahead of Aguero, which also made him the all-time leading goal scorer for one club in the Premier League, which is impressive.
Breaking records every game, RH.
Exactly. He's now 75 goals away from Alan Shearer. Julian Lescott said on BT Sport he doesn't think he's going to break Shearer's record.
Yeah, I thought...
At 29 years of age, he needs another 75 goals. What's stopping him? Just injuries, really, surely.
Nothing's stopping him, because we've seen him have big injuries in a season where he's out for 2 months of the season and still hits over 20-25 goals. So I don't think anything's stopping him, and I think there's no way, unless he's out for literally a whole season, I don't think he's in any harm of not breaking that record.
But to be fair, in 3 of the last 4 seasons, he hasn't hit 20 league goals. So is that something to consider when thinking about it?
How many is he behind?
75. So
look, how many seasons has he got left?
For me, I think he can go until he's 34, 35,
so
in my opinion.
I think easily break that if he goes till that long.
I think that's why. I mean, at least 33 at the bare minimum he could definitely go to. If you, as I've said before, you look at how the top strikers in this day and age have kept themselves in a good condition and their longevity. You've got Benzema, who's about to win the Ballon d'Or at 34.
Yeah.
You've got Lewandowski, who's banking 40 a season, and he's 34. So even
look at someone like Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, exactly. 35. He's still getting at least 15 a season. So why can't Kane go till that age? And we're talking about them still bagging in. It's not like that ended. They're going to go probably for another 3 years at least. So why can't Kane?
He'll break it. And also, he's only about 16 goals behind Jimmy Greaves now.
Yeah, and he'll probably break that this season now.
Yeah, definitely break that.
And he's 2 behind Andy Cole, having played 180 less games.
Wow.
And you think about how prolific Andy Cole was, so that's really, really impressive. And obviously, he's going to smash Wayne Rooney. He'll probably be second by the end of the season, I would say. Well, he's how many?
Who is second?
Rooney on 208. So he's now 15 plus 8. He's 23 behind Rooney.
23
in second.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible he'll break it this season.
It might be a stretch, but he could do it.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's very possible. And then obviously here's our XG from yesterday. Despite having less efforts, we have definitely had a lot. And if you look at the efforts, this is why stats can be misleading, because you see how many shots Wolves had.
That's exactly what I was saying.
And then look how many shots are outside the box and not very good quality chances. And then even though we had less, only 1 outside the box, the rest obviously look how close to goal they are. So I think that definitely needs to be acknowledged.
Do you think that if Son puts away that chance that we hit the post, Kane puts away that chance that we hit the bar, that people are still complaining about the performance
I
and
don't think
result
so.
today?
If we win 3-0, no. It's just because it was obviously the game was a bit of a knife edge because there was only 1 goal in it and then the poor first half. But I think we put the chances maybe we should have in the second half. I don't think there's anywhere near as many complaints of the performance. Let's look at what I saved at Reddit. So here was Ronaldo. Obviously, he was at the game yesterday. Do you reckon he enjoyed it? Enjoyed what he saw?
Well, don't know about if he enjoyed what he saw, but he enjoyed himself at the game with his new Spurs shirt. That's for sure.
Look at that. It was nice to see R9 enjoying the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. That was good stuff.
I hope he gave Kane a little pep talk like Maradona did when he came.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to see the content of that.
Very true. Harry. So these are all the records Harry Kane now breaking, and all the ones that he's very close to breaking. So, most goals scored for a single Premier League club, most Premier League goals scored for Tottenham, most European goals for Tottenham, 40, which is 44, most away goals in Premier League history, most Premier League goals in a calendar year, most goals and assists in his first 6 games of a Premier League season, most Premier League Player of the Month awards. Oh, really? He holds that record? I didn't know that.
Which one? What was
most Premier League Player of the Month awards goes to Kane. 7 Player of the Month awards. Most competitive goals for England men's team. Most goals for England's men's team in a year. Most major tournament goals for England. And those are all the ones he has. And these are the ones he's very close to having. So he's 3 away from being the all-time goal scorer for England. He's obviously Premier League, most goals of Premier League history is 75 away from that. Most goals scored for Tottenham, he's 16 away from that. Most league goals scored for Tottenham, he's 35 away from that. And most Golden Boot awards, Premier League Golden Boot awards, he's 1 away. Who has the most Golden Boots? Is it Shearer?
Must be.
Or Henry? I thought Henry might have 4.
I'll check.
Is it Henry or Shearer?
Shearer.
He's only one away from having the most Golden Boots out of anyone. So that's also very impressive. These they keep coming. These are how many is Henry with 4, so he's not far away from. How much Salah's also on 3, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah, because he won in his first season, his second season, and last season. We shared it with Kane.
Henry did it in 01, 02, 03, 04, 04, 05, and 05, 06.
Okay, so Kane needs 1 more, and he's level with Henry. Let's hope he can do it. But yeah.
But then Salah also needs 1 more.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. You saw Dane
But with Harry Kane, it's not bad for a 1-season wonder, is it?
Exactly. Not bad at all. Dane Scarlett got an assist yesterday.
Yeah, it was a nice assist, wasn't it?
Yeah, nice cross to the back post, and there it is, heading it home for Portsmouth, which was nice.
Big up Dane Mbappe.
Yeah, this was obviously Davinson Sanchez. He hasn't conceded a goal in 7.5 hours. So that was him getting recognition. Here is a little discussion on Richarlison. It says. I'd be very tempted. It says, first of all, it says Richarlison is looking sharp, and unfortunately, Sonny is not just yet. Should Richarlison start next game? It says I'd be very tempted to start him. We've relied on Sonny way too much in the past, and perhaps a bit less pressure and a chance to change a game off the bench would be good for the team. There's no denying if you stick with him, Sonny will find form soon. But the whole point of a strong squad for me is we can afford to start him on the bench next time. What are your thoughts? And he says some people really need to learn the difference between a point of discussion and a statement or whatever. Ignore that. But so yeah, we discussed that earlier, didn't we?
Yeah.
Whether we should rest Sonny or not. As I've said before, I agree with this guy. I think the whole point of signing Richarlison for 60 million is that you can bring him in, and it shouldn't be even a point of discussion, really. It should just be Richarlison starting today. But a bit like for Man City, when if Grealish doesn't play and it's Foden on the left, it's just, Foden's starting today. It's not like, oh my God, he's resting Grealish.
You look at Riyad Mahrez. He's considered one of the best right wingers in the Premier League. I mean, he doesn't start every single game, does he?
And that's how it has to be. It shouldn't be like, oh my God, headline Spurs have put Son on the bench. It just be
again,
Spurs starting Richarlison.
Like for the Spurs fans calling for Sonny to be dropped or to be rested or whatever, it should be we accept the decision, whatever it is, because it's great to have Son there and it's great to have Richarlison there too.
Exactly.
So, whatever the decision is, Spurs fans need to get behind.
And I think as well, Conte definitely values like the energy the players can bring and stuff. So I really don't think, if he really believes that Sonny is tired or anything, I really believe he will put Richarlison in. I don't believe he's unlike last season, he's going to force himself to keep starting these players if they're tired or needing of a rest or out of form. I think, and if Sonny is starting, then I have to believe that he's showing in training that he's more than ready to play and more than ready to show that freshness in the game. And that's what I got to believe. I don't believe if Sonny's looking lethargic and tired in training, Conte's going to start him.
Does the same go for Harry Kane, though? Because can someone produce for us on a pitch what Harry Kane can actually produce with his dropping deep, linking up the play, spreading the ball left and right, supreme passing ability, supreme finishing ability?
Yeah, I mean, you could argue it's maybe a bit different for Kane because Richarlison can't really do what Kane can do. I want not necessarily he can do what Son could do either, but in terms of that, Kane has got a very specific role in this team, in that hybrid role of number 10 and number 9, which he's so good at. Obviously, Richarlison isn't as good at, can't really do that, but what Richarlison offers, which Kane doesn't maybe offer, is that running in behind and being able to really stretch the defence, maybe more than Kane can.
He might even be stronger on the break if it's with Richarlison, Son and Kulu.
Exactly. That's also something, because so if Kane is off form, 100%, I agree. I think Richarlison can come in without too much discussion, I hope. Although I would say there might be more discussion if Kane got dropped in Son, just because of that role he plays.
But like you said before in the match review, it shouldn't be like a whole big story if one of them do come out for a game, because this is what we need a squad for.
Yeah. But I just think because we're so used to Kane and Son just being such massive players, they still are for us. Like, it always will be, especially earlier on, if they ever get rested or dropped, it probably will be a story within our fan base. And there will be, like, criticism if the result doesn't go away and they're not on the pitch. But hopefully we just need to get a stage where it's not like that. Yeah. And here's what I was talking about, the pass map yesterday, the heat map, the passing map. So look how far Perisic is. This is Perisic here on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Look how close he is to like Kane and Son. Like he's really far compared to Emerson, who's more closer to the level with the midfielders and stuff like that. That is what Perisic can bring to you, that kind of offensive ability, and that's going to be very important. And look how wide. It also forced Davis to be a lot wider as well, which like I think he can be decent at, maybe potentially if he's got the cover, which he would do with two centre backs with him. It did force Davis actually a lot wider than he probably is usually, which is interesting.
And this is only the beginning for Perisic, because I think once him and Sonny really learn that their games and really start linking up with each other, they're going to be dangerous. They're going to be so dangerous together on that left-hand side. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, it's just interesting how the difference in Emerson and Perisic in terms of how far up the pitch they are. Emerson here quite far back, and then Perisic very far forward. So for example, without Sessegnon, I really can't envisage Sessegnon being that far forward.
He would probably be level with Emerson.
Exactly. So that's what Perisic can bring.
Yeah. But also, Emerson needed positionally to be there because of Sanchez yesterday. That's also another point to prove, because Davinson Sanchez obviously isn't the best at playing out the back and driving forward and stuff like that. So Emerson needed to
be closer to
be a bit more reserved and be closer to him tactically for Spurs yesterday.
Yeah, it's also a decent point. Yeah, and it was good to see as well. Looks like Kane, I think in games gone by, he would have been actually a bit further, a bit deeper, but it was actually quite close to Son, and which was decent. But it's interesting to see here as well. If you look at the width, like Kulusevski was quite far out wide, but on the left-hand side, it was Perisic providing the width as opposed to Son, which is quite interesting, I find.
I think that's what Conte wants, is his wing-backs to be in Perisic's position. He wants Emerson to be in that position, and I think if you saw a heat match with maybe Cuti Romero where Sanchez is, you would see Emerson much higher up the pitch.
Yeah, and you would probably see Sanchez
Kulusevski tucked in a bit more.
Yeah, you'd probably see Romero more where Davis is, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
That's probably what you would see. Yeah, but I thought that was quite interesting. Here says here as well, most passes was Hojbjerg. The most XG chain was Bentancur, which is what I was saying as well. Like, his XG chain is basically the expected goals from which you start the move from. And that's what Bentancur's top of. Most progressive passes.
XG chain, XG this. There's like new metrics every week.
There's something called the OBV as well, on ball value. They're developing it, which is a metric to determine how often your actions lead to positive outcomes for your team.
How did people assess games without these crazy stats when we were growing up?
They just watched it. Just watched it. Like, he's pretty shit, that guy.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Whatever, I'll get into it in a sec. But most progressive passes was Hojbjerg. Most progressive passes received was Kulusevski. And also, we didn't chat about Kulusevski. I actually thought he was really good in the second half. Second
half, he was really good.
First half, he did a few good things as well.
Yeah, first half, he was okay. But second half, he really came to the party, and he wasn't as good as he was against Southampton, I wouldn't say, but he was definitely providing for the team positively. His strength on the ball is absolutely brilliant. Players seem to bounce off him, and
could have got 2 assists. He set up that cross for Kane.
Brilliant cross that was, by the way.
He set up the chance for Son as well, who hit the post. And he got Nuri booked. He was a bit of a nuisance for Nuri, I thought.
Yeah.
In that second half.
Not as good as he was against Southampton, but still a strong display.
Southampton, he was phenomenal. And then what's that? This is the Wolves pass map, which is interesting to see. And then this is the XG. So as you can see, this just goes to show pretty much how the game went. So that's at 45 minutes. It wasn't going well, as you can see, 45. But this is at that 45. But still, Wolves.
We only entered the XG map at half an hour, 40 minutes gone.
40 minutes. That's what we entered it. We entered it there, which
45
is
minutes.
Yeah, literally. That Kane shot was literally just before half time.
Yeah.
So look, it wasn't going well, but still, Wolves' XG was fairly low. And then once we got involved in the party, look how high our XG goes, really high, and theirs still stays fairly low. And as you can see, they didn't really have one chance, which was a high XG chance. All of them was just high incremental increases, whereas us, we had big chances. As you can see, big jumps here, big jump there. Yeah. So it says here, based on this model, how many times can you expect Spurs to win the game? 59%.
59.
So 60% of the time we win the game. So I think that goes to show that we probably did deserve it. And the other time, it's 25% of the time it's going to be a draw. And Wolves, it says here, for all the people saying how well Wolves played, and which I did think they played well, it says here only 16% of the time Wolves win that game. So, that's what it suggests from this model, which is interesting.
So panic over.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it.
All right, so that is how Twitter and Reddit reacted to the game yesterday. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section.